Hello, Houston. Welcome to the Houston Celebration Program. This is a great day. It's a great day because it's a day that the Lord has made, and we are so glad that you are tuning in. You are going to be blessed today. And I just want to thank Marcus and Joni Lamb for giving us the opportunity to be a part of the family of Daystar here in Houston and bringing this program to you. And you know, if you're here today and you're watching this program and you need prayer, we're here to pray with you. You know, Jesus said, pray the prayer of agreement, and I will be right there in the midst of you to respond. And so if you need prayer today, 281-212-1037, call that prayer line. We are waiting to hook up with you for God's power to be released in your life. We've got a great program today. We've got Bishop John Weatherley with us today from Houston. He is a man that God has used mightily all over the U.S., Canada, miracles. We're going to talk about the miracle power of God today and lots of great things. So stay tuned in, stay prayed up, and I want you to welcome to the set today Bishop, Pastor, Evangelist, all these titles, John Weatherley. God bless you, brother. It's good to have you today.
Yeah. It's good to meet you, Pastor.
This is a great day, and I know as we've been talking on the phone last night as you were driving in and even today, you come from a great background of ministers, and God's done a lot of things then. He's doing stuff now. And tell us about where'd you come from? What's your background?
Well, I grew up in a ministry family, surrounded with ministry. That's all I knew my whole life. My father was a pastor, was an evangelist, was born and raised in Michigan, moved to Georgia when I was still fairly young. My father founded several churches and grew up with the atmosphere of believing in miracles my whole life. My oldest brother, Clifton, drowned when he was 16. The paramedics proclaimed him dead, said he was dead, and a young evangelist by the name of Larry Austin wouldn't accept it, and he jumped astride my brother and laid hands on him and said, I command life. And my brother heaved, water came out, they took him to the hospital. We were in the middle of a camp meeting in Lake Odessa, Michigan, and one of the most power-packed camp meetings I've ever seen in my life, and a camp meeting that was the atmosphere, probably more miracles at one time in that type of atmosphere that I've ever seen. My mom was healed. She had had internal bleeding that the doctors couldn't stop from the birth of my youngest brother. And man of God drew his hand back and said, Sister Weatherly, are you ready for the miracle?
Here it comes.
I looked up at my dad because Brother Schmidt was not very big at all. Him and Marcus are similar in size and stature. And he said, Brother Weatherly, are you ready? And he drew his fist back and hit my mom right in the stomach. My mom never felt it, fell out, and the power of God instantly healed the organs. So grew up with an atmosphere of miracles. And when other people say, well, I don't believe in it, well, it's too late to tell me, because when you're raised in that faith atmosphere, it does something to you. It changes you. And my heart has always beat. At the age of 8 years old, Pastor, I heard the voice of God speak to me for the first time, and he said, preach my gospel. I said, Lord, if that was you, say it again. He said, preach my gospel. And it was at that camp meeting, Lake Odessa, Michigan, when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
And
been doing it ever since.
Preached my first message when I was 12 years old, ironically in the same church, Marcus, that you did. When my dad, and I'll just say this, I've already explained this to you, but I'll say it so that the audience, when Marcus Lamb, my dad gave him his first outside preaching engagement and gave him his first revival also, and was one of the strongest revivals in the history of that church that my dad was pastoring. And of course, Marcus was 15 at the time, and his ministry just blew up from there. And but in that same church where Marcus, that was where I preached my first message on the omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresence of God.
Wow.
And just growing up in an atmosphere of faith and seeing miracles, and that's what my heart pounds for, is to see souls saved, lives changed, to see the miracle power. I love to see the shocked look on people's faces when they realize the pain that was there is no longer there.
Yeah.
We were in Stuttgart, Arkansas, Wednesday night, and this old man that day had grabbed a hot iron skillet and burned his hands, and came to the service. I didn't know this. He was in pain, and after preaching and started ministering in the gifts and the prophetic, the Spirit of the Lord led me to him, grabbed his hands, started praying, and he started testifying about how the pain had left his hands, and he started moving his hands. He's in his 70s, and I love to see the power of God transform people's lives. Sure. People who say, well, it still doesn't happen. Let me tell you something. If you have a relationship with God and that love life
sure.
is there, you spend time with God, God will spend time with you.
Amen. That's good. If you spend time with God, God will spend time with you.
Always.
You know, God is using you, and you're traveling all over the U.S., in Canada, and you're seeing all these types of miracles. So, and are you now based here in Houston?
I am for this season. Mm-hmm. Have no idea how long God's going to hold us here, but for right now, we are based here in the Houston area.